Oh, we're live streaming as well. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the K2 Systems and SMA webinar. We just got started here, so we're going to let people start filing in, and we look forward to providing you guys with some updates and some new quirks and features that have been updated on our software on our digital end with the K2 base design tool. Get you introduced to more team members from the K2 Systems team, and also show you the integration of our API bridge with the SMA Sunny Design tool with the great people from SMA. So happy Thursday morning. Let's let people trickle in and get signed up. Get your coffee, your chairs adjusted, and we'll get started soon here.
I'm just wanted to make a couple notes of housekeeping stuff. I'm Johan, Director of Training. Nick drives this tool pretty constantly with customers, but and Kelsey as well from our sales team. She's working with customers all the time. Alfonso from SMA is here, and Mike Mahan as well. And Dakota is our lovely marketing manager who's making sure we're on time and everything here. If you have questions, put them in at the end, and I myself will do my best to answer them one-on-one, and then we'll save some time at the end. So everybody's muted, and if you have questions, you can type them in, and we'll get to a Q&A at the end, just so everyone has a chance to present.
Thank you, Johan. Thank you. I'll just get a chance to introduce myself real quick. I'm Nich with K2 Systems for the last 3 years. I've been in solar since about late 2010. Been with K2 since 2019. I'm actually with the product development team with hardware, but I do spend a significant portion of my time with the base software tool as well. And we look forward to instructing you on some tips and tricks on the tool today. And Kelsey, go ahead.
Hello, I'm Kelsey Rawlings with K2, a little over a year and a half now. I've been in solar since around 2016, in distribution, sales, in-home sales, and now I'm working with K2. I am on the technical sales team, and I can assist with projects, project designs, help with base, any technical questions you might have, engineering letters, things like that. You can always feel free to reach out. So nice to see everybody, and thanks for driving this, Nick.
Absolutely, absolutely. Alfonso, would you like to introduce yourself and some of the SMA team members as well?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here. My name is Alfonso Mateo. I'm one of the technical trainers from SMA America. And well, we're going to check out these systems today, and I hope you enjoy it.
Anyone else from SMA, or Mike, you still on?
Hello, my name is Veronica Arroyo. I'm the marketing program manager for SMA. And yeah, I'm excited to be here with you guys today so you can learn a little about our design system, and hope you find this, you can learn from this experience with us.
Thank you, Veronica. We'll get it one more minute here because it's just about 9:04, so we can get started here. I have a very brief presentation to get everybody introduced to K2 and what we do as a company, what our goals are, and then we'll jump right into the K2 base design tool, which is part of our digital solutions. We'll help you configure multiple different types of roof type installation systems. And we're always adding more. We're always seeking to improve it and make sure that our customers enjoy the success of installing solar across the world. Speaking about across the world, let's just kind of get into the agenda here. And and a little bit about K2. We already went through the introductions. You met Kelsey, Johan, myself, our marketing manager, Dakota, is with us as well. We got a chance to meet some of the SMA team members earlier too. One of our major goals with K2 is to make sure that you guys are supported and we support your installs out there. So we offer a wide variety of equipment for you guys to successfully install solar onto your projects. And so you guys can continue for our joint dreams of renewable energy and our goals to make clean energy and renewable energy and solar an effective and renewable and successful business for you. Just a little bit about our vision. We are a worldwide company. We have multiple offices across the globe. We are up to 300 employees now and 10 global locations, along with our distributor partners that are out there who help us move all of this equipment across the earth. We are responsible now for over 20 gigawatts of solar installed. So we're very, very happy to continue our pursuit of getting solar on rooftops, buildings, any type of structures that we can support with solar in making a renewable future. So a little bit of back history about K2. Started our headquarters is in Renningen, Germany, and that was in the early 2000s. But we are continually branching across Eastern and Western Europe, and finally in 2012 is when we made the leap over to the North American market with our first office that was in Vista. Shortly after that, we also have a K2 Mexico team. It's actually where some of our development engineers are. All the way into South America, Brazil, Australia. So we are an international racking manufacturer, solutions for your guys' installs. And we've just about installed over just about in every country across the world. And we're happy to continue doing it. Like I said, founded in 2004, finally was able to move over to the United States. I'm sure you guys remember us most likely as Everest Solar Systems, but we were always our parent company was always K2 Systems, where a lot of our equipment originated from. We just had to, in the early stages of establishing our business here in North America, we did have to go under the name of Everest Solar Systems, a K2 company. So as of 2021, we were officially able to bring K2 Systems over as our full parent company name. So moving forward, as you deal with all of the K2 Systems teams, we are all under K2. Let's get into our online-based design tool and our digital solutions. So we have had an online configurator since the early 2015s, and this is actually an international tool. So when you sign up for it and you tell it where you're actually at, it will remember where you're at. If you're here in North America, or if you're designing arrays in Europe, you can easily do that, and the tool will actually make sure that it conforms to the area that you're actually designing in. It is available in over 15 different languages, which is very important for an international tool. We're designing systems across the world. You actually have a interface that is very dashboard friendly, where you can actually see the progress of your projects and you can organize your systems. This is important if you're using a CRM or any kind of customer relationship management software, so you can track the success of your projects, how much time is being spent into the design stages of your projects, and other services that you might want to apply to supporting your customers out there. So this is great if you're a installer. This is great if you're a EPC and you are bidding on multiple projects out there across North America. I'm only familiar with my North American market, so but if you are a EPC, if you are a large or small installer, and we've also brought in API bridges, which will actually connect to great inverter designer tools like the one Sunny Design has from SMA. So we play nice with permitting software, from Green Lancer. And we also play nice with Archelios Pro, which is a system analysis as well. Today, we're going to be focusing on designing a system and exporting it using the API bridge to handshake over to the SMA Sunny Design tool. And we'll go ahead and get started with that right now. So I'm going to exit out of the presentation here. And I'm going to go over to the K2 Systems website. You get to see some of our awesome team members here on the scrolling banner here. And I'd like to thank Dakota for always making our website look so amazing and user-friendly. So driving around the website, you can see here up on the top banner across the top, there's a button that goes directly to Base. But if you want to find out a little bit more about our tools, you can go to Service, and then you can go to Online Base Design Tool. And this will take you to the landing page where there's more information and background on Base. And there's also some videos here where you can actually get more familiar with the tool. With that said, you can find a lot of this content on YouTube as well. We make sure that we have a very strong footprint on most social medias and video learning sites. And of course, here's an introduction video from Gal Rotter, who is our digital solutions manager over in Europe. So like I said, 2 ways to get started with Base. Either you can go to Service, click on a Base Design Tool, and get to the button where it says Start Base here, or you can use the top button if you don't want to go through the 2 clicks. I'm going to use the top button today, and it's going to take me to a brand new tab, and it's going to log me in immediately into Base. You'll notice that it automatically recognized me here down at the bottom left, and it's because I'm signed in with my Google Chrome profile, so it recognizes my login. Signing up for Base is very easy. You only need your own email and your own password, your own defined password, and then it'll ask you a couple profile questions about the company that you work for, and just so it can have an idea of geographically where to land you on your as your projects start. Since I'm in Northern California, which is in North America, it's going to land me in North America whenever I start a new project. So a little bit of explaining about the dashboard here and the interface of Base. All of the buttons on the left-hand side, some of them are actually reciprocated here across the dashboard. So if you want to start a new project, there's a small button here on the left. There's also the large new project button, which is right here in your dashboard. The reason we have them in both spots is because there's a lot of familiarity that legacy users have with this sidebar versus the newer dashboard as we improve it across the into the future. So that's the main reason that we have both buttons. Another thing that's been updated on Base is that it is an automatic browser save now. So you can go into this save profile and you can say, do you want to have a manual save or an auto save? Most of us prefer to have an auto save so we don't have to click save every couple seconds here. So it's one of the features that we decided to make sure that we put into the tool. It's functional and it's very fast and easy. We have the download project file. This means that I'm able to share files with team members like Kelsey or Johan. Let's say if I start a project and I don't finish it, or if I have completed a project and I want them to critique it, or we want to share it with our customer, you can send that exact project to that person. And if they have a login for Base, they can open it, critique it, make any modifications that they wish to have, or just print out their project file and get started. There is an undo redo button, which gives you the fast toggle back and forth. Let's say if you went a little bit too far into the tool and you'd like to go back real quick, just hit the undo or redo button. Tutorial videos here on the side. Of course, we have newsletters here on the tool whenever there's updates, like if we update a new building code design or we add a new product, it's part of that newsletter. Last but not least, before we get started, there's a chat button right here. This will take you to Sherpa, and actually it takes you to Kelsey's team, where they're if you need assistance with the tool, if you need just instant tech support, you can do this via WhatsApp or Apple iMessage if it's already integrated onto your computer. All you have to do is accept the policy of chatting with us. There are a few immediate auto response questions from it, but after that, it will go to a representative on Kelsey's team, and they'll be able to guide you through your project or immediately contact you and get you some support. So let's start a brand new project here. I'm going to click New Project. sorry, let me, I apologize. Let me take you guys through the dashboard here real quick. There is a filtering mechanism on the dashboard, so you can move your projects into completed, in progress, realized. It really comes down to just keeping you organized. There is a grid view and there's also a list view. So I prefer the list view because I kind of like the infinite scroll. Like I said, let's get started on starting a brand new project. Today, we're going to be designing a project that's in a commercial setting, and then we're going to take this exact project and we're going to push it over to the Sunny Design tool from SMA. So when you start a brand new project and you click New Project with the tool, it's going to take you to the center of the United States. Let's be completely straightforward. Every single project has an address. It has whether you're installing solar in the middle of a field, it's going to have map coordinates, or if it's a building, it's going to have a physical building that it's going on to. So we have a great address to get started with today. Let me go ahead and just grab it here. Perfect address to get started with today. Nice commercial building, wide open for solar here. Let's get zoomed in. So as soon as I plug in the address, it'll take me to the actual site here. I'm going to zoom in and go to the exact spot of where we'd actually like to install. And then you'll notice here that this marker here will hover over the exact area that we want to install. This paint shop right here is where our client is about to install solar. So this is a perfect setting, nice south face roof, wide open, great for solar. So we're going to call this paint shop Bay Area, and shop Bay Area. And we're going to be doing a very specific product that's great from K2 called our Crossrail tilt system. This is applicable for flat or low pitch roofs. It uses our Crossrail, and it's actually one of the strongest tilt systems that's out there. And it's because we actually take the system and we create a rear leg and a perpendicular leg, and then we lay the rails horizontally across it, making it a very robust install. So our goal today is to do 22 degrees on the roof. So the only thing you need in this particular setting is your address and a project name. When it comes to using tools like the API bridge with Sunny Design, we do recommend that you have a naming convention. So that means, let's say if there's multiple versions of it, so a V1 or a V2, or you can use the date, or you can use any kind of indicators that you guys use on your team internally to organize your projects. But like I said, when you click New Project, the only thing you need is an address, and you just need a defined project name. Let's talk design method and standards. You can opt in on this as well if you'd like to have an installation date. This helps you stay very organized. Let's go ahead and select August 30, by August 31st, we would like to have the project installed. Let's talk design method. So we actually make sure that our equipment is in line and with all of the current racking and engineering standards. And across North America right now, the most up-to-date standard is ASCE 716. But if you are registered for base in Mexico or in Europe, you can use the building codes in that location. So since I'm in North America, it's gonna default down to either 710 or 716. 716 is the most popular one that's analyzed by most building departments right now. So we're gonna go ahead and use that one. So like I said, only needing the address, only needing the project name. The planned installation date is an opt-in if you would like to have it. And if there's any customer information that you'd like to have involved in the project, you can. Let's say this is our customer's name is Stan, and if we want to put in his phone number, we can. If there's any other tags that you use with your customer database, you can add these as well. Like, let's say this is for Pleasanton projects in 2022. After that, hit add, and it will take you to the next section of the tool, which is loads. You'll notice here that anything that we're working on is highlighted in red. And as we progress onto the tool, more of these buttons will become available. I'm going to click add, and it's going to take me to the loads. Now, what do we mean by loads? We mean wind loads, and we mean any kind of engineering specifications that are needed for the building, category of the structure, and the tool is on its way over there right now. So it's going to take any kind of historical meteorological data, about the wind zones of the area. There is no defined snow load in this area. It's kind of inland of the Bay Area, out towards the valley and in a suburban setting. So it notices the location. If you look at the wind load here, it's taking historical wind information. It's putting it at 91 miles per hour. So that's never going to really go over 110 miles an hour. So these are optimal conditions for us to install solar. The one thing we do need to do in the load section is define the classification of what we're installing here. Are we installing it in an open terrain area? Is this a building all standalone by itself? Is it close to any kind of waterways? Is there any kind of manual information we should need to put in there? This particular building that we're designing on today is actually in a suburban setting. It's, you know, within like the, you know, a small community. So we're going to go ahead and say it's a wind exposure B, urban suburban areas. That means it's closer to other buildings. And after that, we're going to click continue. It'll bring us to the roof section. It's going to ask us, what type of roof are we installing on today? This is important because this is going to be, the tool is going to be able to allocate the proper equipment for you to install onto that roof. The great benefit of that is that you're not going to have to search through all the equipment that we offer in the catalog and wonder which products work with it. By selecting the type of roof, it's going to only organize down the equipment that you need by roof type. So I'm going to go ahead and say this is a flat or minimal pitch roof. The approximate geometry of the structure is a rectangle or a square. And it's going to remember that those flat types of roof types are either a membrane, a rolled asphalt, gravel, or concrete. And that is all you have to do on this roof page for this type of install, for a flat style roof install. I need to get to my button here, so move that out of the way. After that, you'll notice that the cursor for my mouse, it'll now turn into a crosshair and it'll ask me to draw the roof area. Give it a second to catch up here. My internet service is a little slow here this morning, so. There it goes. It's turned into a crosshair. And what we're going to do is we're going to draw an outline of the area where we wish to install equipment on this building. So click to one side. This is terrific because it gives you inline dimensions. So for instance, let's say that we've already done a site survey and we know that we're going to go just about 98 feet across. And we're just going to take that up to 62. 62 and 1 inch is fine. Now that we've defined the flat roof, we know what area we're going to install in. We can actually go into some of the stats of the building here and we can tell it how tall the building is. So we can say, oh, this building is 30 feet exactly. We can say that the minimum roof pitch degree is 3 degrees. We can change this degree if needed, but we know that this has a very low slope to it. And for installing the Crossrail tilt system with our Crossrail rail, we're going to select a fully anchored system. After that, we're going to select we're going to specify what material we're going to be penetrating through on this building. And the material that we will be going through will be a membrane material or a rolled asphalt style material. After that, it's going to let us go over to the design section where we're going to be able to select our module and draw our array. Oh, sorry. If there's any further wind information that needs to be uploaded about the roof, it can be done in this last section of the roof. I apologize for missing that. It is a partially exposed, but there is absolutely no downward snow load in this area. It's actually quite hot in this particular part of the Bay Area. If there are any defined roof obstructions inside this area, you can actually classify that. Let's say if there's some HVAC equipment up there, if there's some communication equipment up there, like any kind of mobile or cellular antennas or things like that, that can be defined in this area. But the reason this building actually is really good to install on is all of that capital equipment, all of that utility equipment is towards the rear of the building, which leaves us this wide open roof to install a very productive system here. So I'm going to go ahead and bypass this and click continue. There are no obstructions in the area that I drew. Here's where we get to select our modules. We have a vast list of modules here. Our library has hundreds and hundreds of modules in it. But one of the things that a lot of customers have asked us, which is an update we've just done, is that it'd be nice to just only see the modules that are UL listed for the Crossrail system, or for our ballasted D-dome system, or for our Mini Rail Express. So if we're able to do that by clicking this one button here, and then you'll go specifically to the list of all of the most current UL listed modules with our tool. I'm going to go ahead and it even remembers your last used module here. I'm going to go ahead and use the Hanwha Q cells, and we're going to use, there's the module I just used last time, was the G10 400. So we take all of the information out of that module library, we gather the dimensions, we have a comprehensive understanding of the loads that are applicable for those modules. All of that data is inside of our tool, and that will be outputted to our summary and our engineering report. We're almost finished here, actually. We have 2 tabs to go through, and then I'm able to export this project over to the SMA Sunny Design tool. But first things first, let's design the actual array that we're going to install on this building now. So we've already drawn out the roof. We've already given it the parameters of some of the loading that's on the building. We've selected the module. It is time to design the array. So we're going to select the system, which is our Crossrail tilt-up single row. This is a very easy system to install, and we have a lot of success with Northern California installers, actually across the United States, who love to use this system because it's so robust. When you're in this particular area of the design section, you can either do the complete roof, which the tool will basically outfit the whole area that you've drawn with the array, or you can manually draw individual arrays inside of this area. I prefer to do the module array, individual arrays inside of the area or across. So we'll show you what those do. This is an elevated system, and we are installing it in portrait. I'm going to click add, and now you'll see, just like we drew the roof, the cursor will turn into a crosshair, and we're able to draw the entire area of where we would like modules to go. Selected the area here, and it looks like we have a good 6 rows by 27 modules in portrait, and this is meeting the target of getting a 64 kilowatt install on this roof for this customer. One of the things I'd like to point out to you here is that you are seeing these horizontal yellow lines going through the system, and you're seeing this vertical line, or excuse me, perpendicular line going through the roof. These lines represent your service way and the gap spacing between the rows. That's what the horizontal lines represent. The perpendicular line represents what we call in the racking industry a thermal break. So the most racking that we can anchor together with rail connectors and span across a structure before it needs a break in the actual system because of contortion and because of any kind of pulling on the system is 60 feet with the Crossrail system. So this line is automatically calculated for you. This will be in your plan set. So that's what those 2 lines represent. We can also change the inclination of our tool. This is a very adjustable and friendly system to actually install. So we're going to adjust this to 22 degrees so we can get maximum radiance on that. And if there's any finer adjustments that you wanted to do on your row spacing, you can do that as well. So it's already set up for portrait. The rails are in one layer, and we're clamping on the long side of the module. Moving on here, we're ready to go to the results tab and choose any accessories that we need for the actual system. So this is exactly what we were setting out to achieve. This is exactly what the customer wants on the building. Nice service rows in between the modules so they can actually get in there and perform any maintenance that they need in the future. And this is a perfect system to toss over to the Sunny Design tool for analytics on its performance. After this, I'm going to click continue. Here is a small top-down view and breakdown of the engineering of the racking system underneath it. So you'll see here that we have our rear leg and our perpendicular leg that's going down the array. And then of course we run these rails horizontally. Here's that that module gap that I was, or that thermal gap that I was talking about. So we're going to break the rail right here in the middle, so the ray can be separated from itself. So it has the ability to basically contort and you know, not have to pull and stress on the structure too much. Let's go to selecting equipment here. So for this specific install, we're going to be using our Crossrail 48, which is one of our legacy rails, but it's one of our most robust rails out there. The 48 stands for the actual height of the rail in millimeters, and it's 166 inches, just under 14 feet in length. And we're going to be installing it with L feet, and we're going to be the contractor is actually going to be using some OMG power grips to install this as well. So we're going to use the K2 L foot. We're going to be using the base rails as the 48X. We're also going to be making sure that we install some accessories on this as well. Wire management is a big deal in this industry. We offer 3 wire management clips right now for our system. Some systems require, some counties actually require stainless steel wire clips, and some counties do not. But the one thing that we are going to install on this is our Omega clip. That's terrific for lining up those MC4 connectors across the rail. They work on both sides of the rail as well in this particular instance, because we have a rail going up and we have a rail going across. So excellent usage of wire management. And we're going to be using our TC clip as well. And after that, I'm going to click continue, and then we'll be able to get to the summarization page. Base has taken a top-down look of everything we've drawn today, and it looks like everything's in great order, and the system is going to be able to be installed with the equipment we have. Taking you to the last portion of the tool here, where we have our summary. We have our kilowatt target of over 64 kilowatts for this customer, 160 of the G10 400 modules. Here on this particular layout page, you have the ability to just take a preview of some of the equipment that you'll be installing on this roof. And these are all the accessories you're going to be needing, including the end clamps and mid clamps to install this system. So all of the other services that this tool offers is we have a report that you can download. We're not going to be using any ballast on the system, so we're going to omit that from the report, and we're going to click generate. That'll pull up a PDF report. And in some instances, if you are in a smaller county that does offer over-the-counter permitting, we outfit these engineering reports with everything that most building departments ask for: classification of the structure, geographically, where is it, customer data, what type of roof material is it, building height, inclination or degree of the roof, system generation. Page 2 of this is actually one of the most important pages of this particular plan set. This is telling you exactly how what length to cut your rails. So if you look at B1 right here, B1 is telling you to cut this length of the rail at exactly 22 inches. And if you look at A, it's telling you to cut it at 54 inches. So if you have the flexibility to actually cut this prior to the install, you can really speed up your install process. And that's what this particular page is important for. So looks like I'm running up on time, where I need to send it over to Alfonso. So a lot of information built right into this report. We can elaborate on this further, or we can even attach it to the chat if anybody wants to take a look at it, or ask us later about the report. We'll have it ready later. So like I said, a multitude of different services that we have built into Base for free. We have our CAD export, which has been an update as well. So if you need a DWG, digital workstation drawing of that exact array that we just drew, you can get that. You can import it right into your CAD software. Let's go to K2 Plus, the inverter designer tool. And this is where our API bridges are with Sunny Design. And we host other inverter manufacturers as well. So when it comes to API bridges and designing with Base and exporting it over to that tool, I do recommend that you already have a sign-in for that tool. And I like to even have a tab open for it already. So you can see here on the left, I'm already logged in, but we're going to go ahead and click on this. And this is going to create the handshake to basically export our project from Base into Sunny Design, and then from there, we'll be able to pass it on to Alfonso. So here you can see it recognized my login, and there it is, the paint shop, 22 degrees, over off of Hop Yard Road in Pleasant, California. It should, actually, I'll let Alfonso kind of elaborate on some of the features and benefits of the SMA Sunny Design tool. Thanks for letting me design the array for you guys today. I'll go ahead and let Alfonso take over.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Then let me share my screen.
Okay.
Okay, here we are. This is the Sunny Design tool from SMA. And well, I have received the link from K2 with all the designs they did about the structure. So now we are going to go with the inverter design, okay, with inverter selections and all the details that included in that kind of design. So here you can see that this is the project name, that's the same project. And in this tool, you can add the name of your customer. If there is a new customer, you can have this where you can add the name of the customer, the email, the company, all that information, because at the end, we are going to have a report. And if you want to have all that information in the report, you can do it right now. I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to follow with the technical details. So let me scroll down. Here is the building that they selected there in K2. It's a paint store. And this software is georeference. So with the selection of the location, you already have here some project data, okay? For example, I have here the temperatures already, okay? If I edit here, you can see here the temperatures, ambient temperature, cell temperature, however you want to set it. And here I already have selected the voltage, okay? This design specifically was selected by K2, and they wanted to do a 62 kilowatt system. For that kind of system is let's say it's a commercial size system. So I have selected a commercial voltage, okay, which is 48 volts, okay. So I continue scrolling down. Regarding the yield losses, I have selected to calculate the losses, the cable losses, you know, the DC cable, the AC cable. I included also shading, but we are not going to work with that. And after this step, we go here to define load profile. Okay, this is not something that is necessary to do it, but I selected a commercial business and that works on 8 a.m., 6 p.m. And I selected a own consumption. Their own consumption is going to be 40,000 kilowatt hour. We'll talk about that again later. And then we go to the next section where we are going to do the PV system configuration. Okay, I got here the data from K2, the modules they selected. These are the same modules. They selected the system with 162 P modules, 64 kilowatt. And here is the tilt they selected, you know, and the azimuth is 0. So this is a system is completely oriented to the south, okay? And it's on a roof, you can see here. All that information I got it from K2. Now what I have to do, what I should do now is select the inverter, okay? I can do several, I can, for example, look for suggestions. And I say, well, I already decided to take 2 inverters. I'm going to show you right now what I decided to take 2 inverters. And when you click here, okay, the software is going to show you the suggestions, okay? You can have just 1 inverter, 162 kilowatt, 233, okay? So I selected here 233, okay? I'm going to click Adopt Design. And here is the design, okay? The core one has 6 maximum power point tracking channels. And I'm going to try here to use only 1 because I have enough inverter. As we are using 2 inverters, I'm going to use just 1 tracking channel. For example, here I'm looking to install here 82 panels. I'm going to connect 82 panels to each inverter. So here we have 68, 81 panels. Okay, so in the next one, the math says I need 13. Okay, so I can click OK. And I have this connection. See, I'm using only one of the connections for each maximum power point tracking channel, okay? But I'm connecting all the panels, okay? 81 panels in each inverter. I'm using 2 33K inverters, okay? And let's see now about the details of the electrical connections. Here we can see that the maximum voltage that we can have in the DC side is 1000 volts. This is because this is a commercial inverter, okay? And we are getting 822. So that means that we are okay, we are inside the range. And the other thing is that this panel, the solar module that was selected by K2 has an amperage of 10.6. Okay, which is under the maximum that for the core one is 20. But what happens if I try to connect two strings to the same channel? Imagine that we don't want to use the B connection, and we want to connect these 2 strings. We want to connect them in the A, okay? Imagine that we want to connect these 2 strings in the A. It's the same in quantity. I mean, it's the same amount of modules, okay? So if I do this, I'm using now A, C, B, D, E, and the B is not being used, okay? Because okay, but now see what's happening. I'm getting 21.3 amps, okay? And this maximum power point tracking channel is going to send only 20 amps. So I kind of losing some energy here. See, that's why I decided to use 2, okay? It is better to use the second one, the number 2. So I'm under that range of current, okay? So all the voltage is okay because you can see all the green check marks, all the current is okay. And I have 6 maximum power point tracking channels. I'm not using the F is not connected. And you can see here, you can ask yourself why the voltage is lower in the maximum power point tracking channel E is lower than the D. See, In the D, I have 822 volts, but on the E, I have 629. You can ask yourself why the voltage is lower. Well, it's lower because you have less modules connected. You have only 13 modules, and the voltage depends on the number of modules that you are connecting here, because this is in a string, you have a series circuit connection. So that's why you are getting less voltage. That's the reason why. The only information that you can see here is that this is a quantity of energy that you're going to generate in a year. And that's it. This is the system, and I can go now to the cable sizing section. Okay, this is the cable sizing, and here you can select between the DC cables and the AC cables. The DC cables are the ones that come from the array to the inverter, and you can see here the 6 tracking channels, maximum power point tracking channels. I told you that we had 6, but the 6, the F, is not being used. So that's why you don't see any information here. So here we have the cable. You can change the cable if you want to. For example, you can put a bigger cable, for example, here, like a 12. And you're going to see that you're reducing the electric losses here. Went from 0.5 to 0.2. And that depends also on the cable distance, okay? Here the software is giving you 32 feet, but you can change this. I mean, maybe the distance that you have is longer or is shorter. You can have that distance change here at the size you want to, okay? So you can change all the cables here. Instead of 16, you can use a 12, which is a bigger one. And you're going to reduce electric losses, okay? And when you go to the AC cables, you can see here the electric losses here too. If this number goes over 1%, you're going to get a flag, okay? A yellow flag from the system, from the software that is warning you that you have too much losses, okay? From here, the next section will be determine self-consumption. We are not having a battery inverter here, so I'm just going to go ahead to energy management. In energy management, you can select, for example, system monitoring via internet, remote diagnosis. You can select here that your internet access is available. And then you can select here, for example, the software can help you. You can say here, design alternatives, and it's going to tell you how you're going to connect to the Sony portal or to the Sony portal by NXOS, depending, okay? That's a portal by SMA. Okay, any of these designs is okay. I decided to select the one where we connect to the Sony portal, so you don't have to use a data logger. The data logger by SMA is a data manager. So in this system, if you have less than 4 inverters, you can connect directly with Web Connect to the Sony portal, and you don't need to use the data manager. The next section is the profitability section. Here you can select between simplify or detail. I select detail, and here you have the modules, 250, let's say is a nice price for these modules. I mean, this is not the exact price. You have to go to the authorized distributor to find a price. And for example, for the inverters, let's say 5,000, okay? So you can have here the investment, okay? This is a round number for the investment, you know, that you're going to do, 50,000. In the tariff, you can change the tariff that you're going to have. Okay, so you can see how much you are saving, you know, because for example, you have your own consumption in this system, and that energy, part of that energy is going to be generated by the solar system, you know. You can see here the savings in this cash flow. And here you can see that there is something negative. What is this in the zero? Is the investment that you are doing, okay? This 50,000 negative is the one that you are investing here, okay? This is your investment on the first period, which is a zero period. And the next period, you are saving money because you are generating your own solar electricity. And here I can go to overview the results. And it has summary of everything that we have done. Here you have the system, the array, the solar modules, the two inverters, the connection with the Sunny portal. See what. Okay, here you have the energy that you are producing is 109 megawatt hour per year. But you are not sending all that energy to the grid. You are only sending 78. Why? Because the other energy there is for your own consumption, okay? But you are purchasing electricity from the grid. Why is that? Why are you purchasing? Because when we define the load profile, see this detail. They are giving you a working hour for the commercial business. So in some working hours, you cannot consume the solar energy because it's too early or maybe because it's too late, okay? That is why the system is telling you that you are going to have to buy some energy from the grid. See, you have to purchase some electricity during the year. It's an interesting detail. And also the system is telling you here how much is your self-sufficiency quota. That means that from you are generating 78% of what you are consuming, okay? This 31 is 78% of your whole consumption that we define it was 40, okay? From this is 31, from 40 is 78%. And this 28% is 28% from what you are generating. So 31 divided by 109 is 28%, okay? What else you can see here is the energy that you're producing more energy. And remember that usually February has 28 days. So usually the month of February, everybody is producing less energy. Okay. Here you have again the investment for the system. And the next section is a project documentation. Okay. In this section, you can select here what you want in your report, okay? If you have taken image from the project, you can include them in your report. I didn't do that. I don't have the roof plan because it comes from the K2 software. And here is my report. Of course, all the header is missing because I didn't write anything in the beginning, but you can do it. You can write here about your company, your customer, and here you can see the report, okay? The whole report. All the information about the system is here. This is all the CO2 that you are saving in 20 years. All the design that we went through is here. You can read it here. Everything is here. 13 pages. The energy. Okay, the energy produced, your own consumption, all the graphics. It's quite nice information, very useful. And as I told you, you can add a header if you want to, but if you are happy with what you saw, you can download it now. I can download this to my computer, and I'm going to get a PDF, see? Now I have a PDF, okay? A PDF file. So this is it. This is about it, what you see here in this design. And okay. Let's go back now to our partners in K2.
Okay. There is a question for you, Alfonso. What is the difference between 1500 volt large format modules and 1000 volt standard format modules in regard to the circuit strings for the SMA inverter?
Say again, please, the question.
What is the difference between 1500 volt large format modules and 1000 volt standard format modules in regard to the circuit strings for the SMA inverter?
And Alfonso, this is Mike. I'm sorry, I typed kind of an answer in, but I sent it only to Nick. If you want me to handle this, I have an answer already crafted.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead and share.
So generally, I think the market is seeing lots of more high current, particularly bifacial modules. And as Alfonso showed in the inverter results, on the core one, there are 6 independent tracking channel inputs, and the IMP limit per channel or string for either any of those 6 is 20 amps. And what that means is the inverter will safely hold at 20 amps should the inputs be able to produce more, as long as that 30 amp short circuit current limit is never exceeded. So depending on how much current the modules can make, and this really comes into question with bifacial modules, because it's the installation location that can dramatically change whether a customer would expect to see a 10% or a 30% backside gain from those modules. So the design tool in some sense can check those, but it is definitely up to the customer with their knowledge of the site-specific information to understand how much backside gain they should choose. One nice thing is that the Core 1 is architected such that each string input on each independent input can take that full 20 amp IMP or 30 amp ISC limit. So if it is a really high power or high current module with high backside gain expected, it may be best to have only one string of modules per each of the 6 input channels. But generally the STC rating of those modules is also, in terms of power, is also much higher, and 6 strings staying under 1000 volts might still provide a good range of choices for good DC to AC loading ratios. So we are getting a lot of customer feedback that they would like to see higher limits on the Core 1, and so that is on the roadmap. And if anyone is going to the RE Plus show in September, we will also be unveiling another slightly smaller power class size of tri-power inverters that have higher current input limits. So particularly for carports where the arrays might be physically separated, using those backside modules, that might be an attractive new product. So hopefully that answered the question. It was kind of long-winded, but hopefully that answered the question.
No, Mike, it's a very valid subject. There's a, I don't know if volatility is the wrong word to use, but let's just say modules are becoming, there's spikes in demand of certain modules, and there's a lot of, large grabs of modules because people fear that they can't get them, or organizations fear that they can't get the modules that they want. So they're going to source a very large volumes of specific modules, bifacials being one of them. So that's kind of where, the rubber meets the road on that question. We've been asked by a multitude of installation companies, as modules get bigger and bigger and they start to exceed 2 meters, it usually is these 1500 volt modules that you were just talking about, that we're seeing installed into more in more field uses.
And just to be very clear, to make sure if anybody's having any confusion, the DC voltage limit on the Core 1 is 1000 volts. And so you can't string past that, but a module that is certified to 1500 volts can certainly be used as long as the string design does not result in higher than 1000 volts being seen at the inverter terminals.
Excellent, excellent. We had a question about rapid shutdown too. What accessories, components are used for rapid shutdown in a system setting of this nature, like a flat roof commercial setting?
This is an absolutely great question, and I would love to take the opportunity to drive people to the SMA-America.com website. The Core 1 US-41 line of inverters has a SunSpec certified transmitter built into it. And so there are receivers that are certified by sunspec.org to comply with their open standard for compliance with rapid shutdown signaling. However, that certification covers just rapid shutdown signaling. SMA has kind of an additional layer of approval on top of that. We want to make sure that none of the other safety features of the Core 1 might be impacted by that rapid shutdown signaling. So there is, in fact, an SMA approved list of SunSpec certified rapid shutdown receivers. So that there is a product page for the rapid shutdown receivers on the SMA-America.com website. We would love for people to go there. We're updating that document fairly regularly as devices are certified by SunSpec. We go through that approval process. So for the Core 1 right now, there is a device called the JMS-F. That is a 1-to-1, so single module per single rapid shutdown receiver. There is a single module device from a company called AP Smart that is also certified for use for the Core 1. And there are 2 flavors of the dual module device from AP Smart, one rated at 15 amps input current per channel, and the other rated at 20 amps per input channel, kind of going back to these high current bifacial modules again, that are certified for use with the Core 1. So right now there are 4 devices that SMA would strongly say, if you're going to use SunSpec for shutdown, only use one of those 4 devices that is SMA approved for use with the Core 1. So again, a long-winded answer, but hopefully that relays that there are a lot of choices. And there's also some interest in SMA in trying to comply with the rapid shutdown requirements inside of the array using UL 3741 listing. So we're trying to expand options for customers as fast as we can.
Terrific. I wanted to ask Alfonso real quick, may I take back the screen here and kind of show some of the value of the API bridge between Sunny Design and K2 Base one more time?
Yes, of course.
Okay, terrific here. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab the screen here. And what I wanted to show you real quick here is, so we're back here at the main project that Alfonso and I have shared and worked on together here. So let's say, for instance, specifically, there's in regard to the earlier question that we had of different modules, right? And things changing on the project. So in an instant, if we go to our project on our dashboard, and if there is a design change, we can always go back to the project, open it up, or share it with anybody else, go back into the project real quick here. We can go over design and say like, oh, you know what we did need? We needed to make a design change and the module has changed. Those modules are no longer available for this project. So I can click over here I can go to Q cells and I can go to, let's say that we switched modules over to Aptos, right? So we're get a 120 cell split cell 360, right? Now that we've saved that module and moved it over, the kilowatt generation will be lower on the project, but we can always still have the same engineering for it. The tool will recalculate all of the racking that you're going to need for it. So if I go back to summary and I share this over, as long as I make a change on the actual name of the project real quick here. So let's just say we're going to switch this over to version 3, right? Now that'll auto save. And if I send this over to send this over to Sunny Design, it'll recognize the change of the project, and then all of that information will be updated in my project as well. So that's where the handshake between the two applications really does present a lot of value in your project management. So if I push this back over, I can send it to the Sunny Design tool. We've changed the modules. Oh, whoops, let me log in real quick. We've changed the module over, and we should be able to view that over in the Sunny Design tool. So any changes that you make in base, you can export over to Sunny Design and they'll be relevant in your project. So if I just go over to here real quick and I go to PV system, it should recognize that we did update the modules, and there they are, the Aptos 360s. So system generation did go down, but it was the modules that were available for the project. So this is essential in project management to make sure that you're ahead of the curve in preparing. Things constantly change in this industry. Availability to equipment can change within a week. So making sure that you have the ability to pivot quickly and be successful with your install is something that we work very hard at here at K2. We pour a lot of focus and support into making sure that our customers have the digital tools that they need to keep their projects landing successfully. So, well, I think we're just 5 minutes over on time here. I'd like to thank the SMA team for joining us this morning. Alfonso, thank you for driving us through the Sunny Design tool. It has a lot of features and benefits to that for managing your project, optimizing your string, and making sure that you have the right equipment for your customer. And I think a lot of the technology that SMA brings to the table is fantastic. Definitely paved the way for solar across the span of time here. And I remember when Sunny Boy TLs were going into just about every single project in the early 2000s. So we're happy to see that you guys have made more advancements, and we look forward to working with you much more in the future here.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us, K2 Systems. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Thank you very much.
Working with you too.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Dakota, did we have any more questions?
We do not, but we will send a follow-up newsletter to all the attendees. So if you guys have any more questions, you can direct them directly to Alfonso or Nick. Thank you, everyone, for joining today, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Kelsey,
Thank you.
Johan, Dakota, thank you for joining. We look forward to seeing you guys at the next customer events and RE, the SPI conference that's coming up here soon. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.